How do you serve? Spiritual practices in action. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 231 of our Supersize Your Business Annual Challenge. If you've been with me for any length of time, you know that to me, what we put out into the world is what we get back. And I firmly believe that. I've seen it so many times in my life and in my businesses that it is just a core belief of mine. And that's why one of my favorite questions is, well, how can I help? And I really mean it. How can I help you create what it is that you want? And I think this is a great example of service leadership, and that as leaders in our organizations and in other areas and aspects of our life, it is up to us to demonstrate by helping other people achieve and do and be and have what they want in order to create what it is that we want with our businesses and with our lives. Now, being of service is defined by the other person, right? Not by us. But when we set our ego aside and we do things that they expressly tell us that they can use help with, or that they ask us to help them with, and we do it without any expectation in return, that's my current definition of services. How can I do something for you, but I don't expect anything in return? Some people's egos won't allow them to do this, and they struggle in certain areas of their life, and they struggle in certain relationships. I think that I don't believe we can divide the world into one thing or another. Even though we live in a polar universe, I don't think that everybody is 100% of the time a giver or 100% of the time a taker. I think we're a little bit of each, depending on the situation, depending on all kinds of things, right? I'm a firm believer in situational leadership. But I think that if there is I am here to serve and help you do your job better, automatic frame of reference, we'll make better decisions and we'll lead and coach and guide better than if we come from a different perspective. Now, keep in mind, I grew up in the world where, my way or the highway, I am the boss, this is what should be done. Leadership was the norm. And I never felt like I fit in a lot of those situations because I didn't believe that. I didn't believe that we needed to boss people around. We needed to punish them if they didn't do exactly what we wanted them to do, or we had to domineer them in order to lead them. I think leadership has always come more from my heart, and I hope it comes from your heart too, because when we show up with a servant's mind, meaning I'm here to help, we make better choices, better decisions, faster decisions, and decisions that make everybody feel better, including us, than if we're taking a different approach. It's like having an open or a closed mindset. You can have a closed mindset, but guess what? You're going to struggle. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to struggle if you are closed-minded. But if you are open-minded and flexible and able to look at situations from different perspectives and points of view, you'll always have a better experience. I really can say this with 100% confidence. You will have a better experience than if you are living in your ego, living in an identity that you may or may not believe that is actually yours, and trying to make and show up in the world from that point of view or that perspective. And your business will struggle too. It might not struggle till you reach maybe the $3 to $5 million mark, because guess what? We can get away with being a jerk for a long time. And there's still enough people on the planet that will do business with us and work with us. But at some point, if you're not growing, you will be the bottleneck in your business. You will stunt the growth of your business because you can't step out of the way. You can't set your ego aside to realize that there are people on the planet that can do things better than you. I am like a firm believer in, I need to stay in my lane and do the things that I know I am best at, and find other people that will help and support me and be of service to me in the things that I'm not great at. And like all human beings, those are many, but I am aware of them. Was I always aware of them? No, I was not always aware of them. Probably throughout most of my corporate career, I think it was probably my second to the last and my last jobs in corporate America, where I really set aside the nonsense of how things should be and started saying, wait a minute, I have a brain. I can think for myself. How do I want to be? What type of leader do I want to be? How do I want to show up in this organization? And my two most fun jobs in corporate America were the last two, especially the last one. Remember going into the job interview, and I went in with what you see is what you get, which is obviously my philosophy in a lot of things. attitude. And the whole team was interviewing me. So it's kind of a high stress situation for most people. And that's why I decided I'm just going to be me. I'm going to tell it like it is. I'm going to, share my philosophy and what I believe and how I choose to lead. And they hired me, and I had an awesome run with that organization. I finally left to just do my own businesses because I'd had businesses for 25 years at that point on the side. And I'm like, okay, it doesn't really make sense for me to go into work for somebody else anymore. And so that's how I made that decision. But I had a blast in that job. Was everything hunky dory? No. The maintenance manager hated my guts. He didn't like me at all because I held him accountable like everybody else to do what he said he was going to do and to do things in a way that made the organization grow and eventually scalable and sellable to another entity, which is what the owners wanted in the first place, which is why they hired me. So there's always a way we can be of service. And guess what? I was always of service to people in that organization because I knew that if I helped them get what they want and do their jobs better and run their departments better and their divisions, then that would help me get what I wanted. And it inevitably did. So today, what are we going to do? How are we going to demonstrate that we are of service? Let's define being of service as doing something for someone or something else without any expectation of anything in return. It's so many different ways we can do this. Maybe you can send an article to a friend that you know is a topic they've been worried about and concerned about for their business. And you found this great article that's perfect for them and it might help them find a solution to their current challenge. Maybe you can phone a friend and just check in on them and see how they're doing, or a peer or a former employee or a current employee that you know is going through a tough time and they just could use a couple of minutes of acknowledgement that they're doing great throughout a challenging time in their life. Maybe you can ask your team today, how can I serve you guys? How can I help you out? What is it that you need that you're not getting easy access to that I can facilitate for you? That is our job as leaders, is to facilitate the jobs of all the other people in the organization. And if you're the founder, guess what? That means you're there to serve everybody in the organization. Now, not in an overwhelming burnout kind of way, but in a way to set up the systems and the people and the places and the things that can help to serve everybody else in the organization, right? We can't do everything ourselves. Sometimes we think we can, but we definitely cannot. I'm a perfect example of that. So ask yourself today, when have I felt the most spiritually alive? I'm willing to bet that you will answer something that has to do with something you did for somebody else that you expected nothing in return for. There's so many ways that you can do that. Find a way that ties into your business today, that sets your ego aside and shows what kind of a human being you really are, because that's the kind of human being other people want to follow. That's our topic for today. Spirituality it's actually a really fun topic for me because I think most business owners and most businesses don't think about it, much less talk about it. And I think it's like so many business topics that we don't talk about because they're taboo. Those are the ones we need to talk about. Those are the ones we need to explore, at least for ourselves, so we can show up in the way that we want to show up. All right. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Oh, don't forget, free Supersize Your Business school community, place where a bunch of founders meet and greet and learn from one another. It's free to join. Hit me up by saying me in the comments below if that's something you're interested in. You can always come check it out. And if you don't like it, leave, right? I mean, that's one of the ways that I serve. All right. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.